All right, so I do want to say the contract wizard here, which is going to allow you to do all of these things in a simple format. All right. So this is what I recommend, especially people new to the system that don't know the flow of the client, which is your property information, right? I'm going to show you a property tenant, so you can see what that looks like prior to going to the contract wizard. So this is your resident tenant. So you would put the unit number, the names of the people that are in this particular property, and then you got resident 1 through 4. That you can add all the information about. Notes, that's just for your own personal information. It doesn't get mapped anywhere, but maybe you want to note something about these tenants or this property. You can do that here for yourself. And then property profile, this is really what property we're dealing with. And so in this case, it'll show you a list of your properties and you choose the one that they're dealing with at the moment, right? And then you can add new properties as you need to. And over on the tenant side, you would have already selected the property and you would just tell it what unit that you're in, right? And again, the pop-ups, right? So when you mouse over these fields and you leave the mouse, it'll give you some info as you go. All right. So manage clients, if we wanted to add a new one from scratch, let's do that. Add new client, all right? So if these new clients, if they're going to be in an existing property we already have, we would first click on the property profile tab. And then we would click on the property that they're in, right? We would choose one. So what we want to do is first add a property profile. We're going to make one up here, all right? So click on Add New Property Profile. We're going to discard the changes. So we're going to add a property profile. We're going to give this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. CAA training is the property profile. We're just going to name it. This could be, 123 Meadowbrook Drive, right? Whatever your property's at. So I'll say CAA Drive, we'll call it. And down here, I'll just say, here's the owner, agent, and the address will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, CAA Street, maybe Mento, California, and then 41103, just making stuff up. All right, down here, this is the street address, and had you done this first, I do believe the full address will just populate automatically, but based on the way the contracts work, sometimes the contracts want the full address, and sometimes they just need a street address plugged in, and that's why we have multiple fields for that. All right, so as you can see, I'm just going down through, filling out the property information. And I'm just going to make up, stuff out here for, all right, phone numbers and, this other information. So I'll make one here for myself, my Gmail account. Okay, so this is for the property profile, and I've got it all filled out here. If I click on the owner profile, I can add the owner information too. So I could say, and this is just for your own record keeping, of course. So you fill out your address of the owner. The owner will have his own address. And we'll just keep cruising. And whatever, right? So just making stuff up here. So you cruise down and you can say owner@gmail.com, right? So we've got all this filled out. So this is your property owner detail that you want to fill out. And on back to the property profile tab, the property we're dealing with is 12345 CAA Drive, and this is the owner agent, and this is the address and information for that property. So now we want to click on Save as New Property, because notice it says changes are not saved yet. So Save as New Property. And then it says New Property Created. All right. Now, we'll return to the client out here. And if we wanted to go into add new clients. So this is going to be our tenants that we're going to put into that property. First thing is property profile. Then you click on the profile list. Hey, and there it is, right? There's the 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And then notice it populates all that data. It says this is the owner information from the owner tab that we filled out. And then this is the property manager and the property information on this tab, right here in this column, right, that we just got done doing prior to this step. So now that we've chosen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 CAA Drive as our property, we now want to get these tenants into this, right? So we're going back to the resident tenant tab. And here's where we can say this is unit, maybe it's 1A, right? Maybe that's one of the units at that property. If there is no unit number, don't worry about that. You can just ignore it, right? But just in case you have multiple properties, or houses, I guess, or apartments in this development, this is how you designate the difference. So resident names, this could be, we'll call it Jim and Jill Smith. And then we'll just say we're going to have 2 this time. If we had 4 people, we would add them all. All right. And so in this case, we're going to have Jim Smith as the first one. And we'll say jim@gmail.com, just making stuff up here. And Jim's detail. All right, and I'm not sure why all these details are here, but I'll go ahead and fill it out to make sure it's accurate if it exists. All right, and then we're cruising through, and on the resident 2 we have Jill Smith. And I'll say Jill's, and it'll be Jill@gmail, right, whatever her email address is. And I could just make this up too. All right, good enough. So you've set up resident 1, Jim Smith, resident 2, Jill Smith, and they're going to be renting apartment 1A from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 CAA Drive property. Okay, so we're happy with that. Now we just click on Save Client. And then we get Save Complete. And then click on Return to Client List. And inside of here, you will see Jim and Jill Smith right here that we just added, right? January 17th. And you can sort on these tabs, guys, on your property. So this is your Manage Clients tab. And you can just click on Modified, so that newest to oldest. See how I got January 17th, 13th, 3rd. Tells you the date it was created, the unit they're in, if there is a unit, right? And so that's how we do that. So right there it is. We added a property of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 CAA Drive, and then we added clients as Jim and Jill Smith right here, okay?